Decisive. Henry Ford was a most unusual man. He was not successful until after he was 40 years old. Matter of fact, he had failed and been bankrupt. He had very little formal education. After he built his empire, he conceived the idea of the V8 engine, something we're all familiar with. It's been around forever. Calling his engineers together, he said, "Gentlemen, I want you to build a V8 engine." These brilliantly educated men knew the principles of mathematics, physics, and engineering. They knew what could and couldn't be done. They looked at Ford with a condescending attitude of, "Let's humor the old man, because if not, he'll fire us." They very patiently explained to him why the V8 engine was unfeasible, and they even explained why it couldn't be built. Ford wasn't listening, however, and simply said, "Gentlemen, I must have a V8 engine built for me." They half-heartedly worked for a period of time and reported back to him. "We're more convinced than ever that a V8 engine is an engineering impossibility. Gentlemen, I must have a V8 engine, so get back to work." They came back with the same report. The V8 engine is an impossibility. So Henry Ford became decisive, and he fired those engineers. And then he hired some men that said, "It can be done. We can do it." And within a year, they had a V8 engine. Decisive. See, those first engineers decided you couldn't build a V8 engine. And Henry Ford didn't have their education or background, but he didn't listen to them. He said, "No, we're going to build a V8 engine." And when they wouldn't do it, then he was decisive, but he gave them 3 chances. It wasn't that he just arbitrarily jumped up and fired people. He gave them all the chances in the world. And then he got rid of them. And he brought in some people to build a V8 engine. What makes people like Henry Ford so successful? The patience, number one, to give them the chances to do it. And number 2, being decisive enough not to give up on the goal that he had set. That's being decisive. He understood the consequences. He had the patience to do what he needed to do. And then he was decisive enough to make sure he got done what he wanted to get done. That's what decisive is. And that's what will make you the best you that you can be.